So good morning, YouTube. I am doing some work to a new to me Honda CT-110. I purchased this CT-110. It's a 1984 model and only had about 870 miles on it when I bought it, so it's in beautiful shape. I'll flash a picture of it here. There's a few things that came with the motorcycle that I need to work on and change. One of the things that came with it is the previous owner had purchased incorrect size battery for it. So I do have this battery. I believe it's brand new, but it was just too large to fit. This is the battery that's supposed to go in it. It was just too large to fit in the compartment. So if you have a battery that has this part number, and you're local to me here in Washington State, Northwest Washington State, hit me up and I can arrange to have you pick this up. It's got the acid in it now, so I'm not going to be able to ship it. So anyway, I went on a ride with it this way, and the side cover didn't fit all the way, and so it did a little bit of damage to where the knob, the attachment knob of the side cover goes through the side cover. I'll flash a picture of that too. I'm going to have to re-epoxy that. But anyway, I purchased the new battery. I went on a ride with this. We just did a ride over Stampede Pass here in Washington State, and I left this battery in it for the ride. It ran fine, holds a great charge. I did order the correct battery for the 110, and unfortunately it didn't come in time for the ride, so the correct battery is one that has this part number on it. And I did a few modifications to the battery. I installed this charging pigtail. I do this on all my bikes. I did it on my Honda 90. And this way I can let this pigtail hang out of the side cover and hook my 6-volt battery charger right up to it and charge it without even removing the side cover. So basically what I did is I just spliced this negative lead into the negative lead of the battery, and the positive lead I spliced into the positive lead of the battery upstream of the fuse. So anyway, I will install this. Also, the metal holder that held the battery into the frame was corroded and had some battery acid spilled on it, and it was corroded. So I cleaned that up and put a couple coats of paint on it. I left the paint off of the hold down where the screw goes in, because the screw also attaches the grounds, various grounds for the bike, to the frame. So I'll flash a picture of that in here too, just a minute. Previous owner couldn't get this thing to go all the way closed because the previous battery was too large. So he just screwed the ground in with the screw and then put the side cover on to hold everything together. The battery hooks in here. This little cotter pin right here holds it in down here at the bottom. And I noticed when I tried to just test fit the battery when it came that there was a little bit of play in this holder, and so in case that is the case, I got some of this foam pad here to kind of shield it from shock bouncing around in there. So we'll see how that all works out once I start assembling this back together. So that's what I'm going to do today. As I mentioned previously, I hooked in this pigtail, charging pigtail. I can tuck this in under the side cover and just let that little piece hang out, and that way I can hook it up to my charger before a ride without having to pull the side cover off. So that's what we're going to start doing here. Eventually I will go into this cavity here. Notice some corrosion on this this piece in here holding things in. You know, as a matter of fact, I may, if that ground screw is the only thing that's holding this in there, I may pull that out today and get a coat of paint on that before I assemble it, now that I look at it. Let me grab a screwdriver and I'll be right back. Okay, it's been a couple days since I wired in the new battery, and we've had kind of a bad development. I'm not sure how bad yet until I get this thing put back in. Basically what happened was I got the battery, and it was the right size to fit in the bike. I installed the electrolyte into the battery and charged it, the initial charge. Then the reason I installed the pigtail is, number one, it makes you able to charge the battery without removing the battery from the bike and the side cover. And the way the new battery came, the old battery on my Honda 90 had a plug where it plugged into the bike, I believe, and then it also had bullet connectors that you could disconnect and then hook charging clamps to those bullet connectors and charge the battery. This one came with just the fuse and a plug to plug into the bike. So I installed the charging pigtail and charged the battery, installed the battery, and I actually rode the bike around a little bit with it, and I noticed while I was riding the bike around that I didn't get a neutral light unless the bike was running, and I thought that was kind of odd. I thought before that I had the neutral light as soon as I turned the key on. Come to find out, what's happened is the battery I received, I will post a link to the Amazon seller that sold me the battery, depending on how they handle this return. What has happened is the plug that came on the battery was wired backwards. This battery specifically said it would fit my 1984 Honda CT-110. The plug on the battery was wired backwards from the receptacle plug on the bike. So the positive and negative were reversed in the plug. Also, once I traced it down, and the reason I found is because I initially charged the battery through the charging pigtail without the battery being plugged in to the bike. After the battery was plugged into the bike and I went to hook the charger up to the pigtail, I was getting a beeping of reverse polarity. And that's when I inspected the wiring and found that the wiring on the plug from the battery was backwards from the wiring on the plug in the bike. When I went to remove the plug, I noticed that there's a black jumper wire in the back of the plug that was not even crimped into the pin of the plug on one side, so it was loose and completely, it was uncrimped, so it just came right out of one side. So the jumper is supposed to be crimped into two pins side by side in the plug. I don't know if running this thing has ruined any of the electronics in the bike. rectifier or anything like that. I'm trying to get the battery recharged. It drained it down to 0.1 volt, 1/10 of a volt. So it's been kind of difficult to get this thing charged back up. If it does take a charge, looks like it has taken a charge. I'm going to, what I had to do is I had to cut the plug off the old battery that was too large, the one on the right there. I had to cut the plug off the old battery that was too large because it was wired correctly, and then splice that into the new battery. I'll flash pictures of the plug that came with the new battery alongside the correct wired plug that was on the old battery. I also flash a picture here of the black jumper wire that was not connected, not crimped into one of the pins. So, like I said, I started the return. I requested a return. They granted the return, but I sent them a message saying, look, I've already installed the acid in this battery, the electrolyte, and I'm not sure you can ship a battery with electrolyte in it. I've also made some modifications to the wiring to add this charging pigtail, and I'm afraid they may use that as an excuse to not honor a return. So we'll see what happens with these guys. I was looking through some of their reviews, and I did notice quite a few of them saying that the battery, number one, didn't last very long. Number two, a few people said that they had dead cells in the battery after only a couple weeks. And I did find one review that said that the battery said that it fit his motorcycle, and when it got there it didn't. And I'm not sure if he was referring to the wiring on the plug or the size of the battery or what, but so this thing's charged up. I had it charge overnight. I'm going to solder the plug back in and the correct way, and plug this thing in and see if I fried anything inside the bike. And I'll let you know later on. Like I said, I'll finish this video later on once I find out how the seller is going to handle this return. I'd like to just get my money back and order from a different seller if possible. So that is the plan so far. Okay, good morning, YouTube. It's been a few days dealing with the issues caused by this battery I received. It was wired incorrectly, and this is the battery that was wired wrong. I ended up ordering the correct battery, and for any of you out there interested in buying a good quality battery for your Honda 90 or 110, this brand here has always done me well. In fact, I should have known that before I ordered the other one, because this isn't the first battery that I ordered. I've ordered batteries for the Honda 90, Trail 90, and I got one of these UAS batteries, and they always work really well. They're excellent quality. You can feel the difference in the quality between this battery and the Origin. I think that's what the other one was called. Anyway, started checking online about what the damage could have possibly been. When I plugged in the battery that was wired correctly, I wasn't getting a neutral light. A lot of the electronics were not working, so I'm a member of a couple Facebook groups. Of course, there's my group that is the Pacific Northwest Honda CT Riders, about 200 strong. So if you're in the Pacific Northwest and you have a CT-90, 110, or a 125, let me know in the comments, and I will send you an invitation to our group. Anyway, I'm also a member of the Honda 90 Facebook group, CT90 Facebook group, and posted my issue on there. And there's a gentleman on that group, John Pardue, who is an amazing asset for these Honda CT bikes as far as electrical issues for them and parts. I've ordered parts from Mr. Pardue before, and you can look them up online. They make a lot of 6-volt LED conversions for these bikes, and looks like my lamp is getting ready to run out of juice over here. All kinds of electrical parts. What basically had happened was plugging the Mr. Pardue got a hold of me via email and told me that when a battery is plugged in with reverse polarity, it automatically fries the rectifier. So it was about $49.50 for another rectifier. The rectifier that he provides is this one, and it's a superior rectifier. I just transferred this boot from the old one to the new one. It's a superior rectifier for the Honda CT motorcycles, and it comes with an amazing description of what it is and why it's different. Personalized by John. Thanks, Cal. Shows you the wiring and the way to hook it up. You disconnect the battery, clean all the grounding surfaces and the connectors, plug in the Fearsome Extreme rectifier, and then reconnect the battery. So I'm glad I got this instruction book along with it. Like I said, this guy has saved me numerous times. I also had to purchase some fuses because it blew my fuse, and then after reversing the polarity on the plug to the correct polarity, I plugged it in again, and since the rectifier was blown, it blew another fuse. So I had to order some fuses, so I'm into this now for probably over $50 in damages to the bike. I've wired the pigtail into the new battery, and it has kind of become a Frankenstein piece of wiring due to being swapped back and forth so many times to different batteries. But I've got it securely attached. I use these heat connectors. You can get these on Amazon, and they basically you have a little heat gun, and these things they seal the insulation on the wires on both ends, and then the solder melts, soldering the two wires together. This is a little heat gun I got for those. Let's see if it's got a tack life. And that's just the little heat end that I use. Anyway, so I've got the new pigtail wired on there. The rectifier was blown. I read a little bit of the instructions on the rectifier. The rectifier on this 84 CT-110 on my 90 was inside the battery compartment, but on this 84 CT-110 it's up here on the post, on the bottom side of the post, right just behind where the front end pivots. That's what I'll be doing today, is cleaning the surface to mount it, connecting it, and then I'll go to installing the battery. The battery has been fully charged overnight, so I should be all good to go. I did install some foam in here to kind of keep the battery from bouncing around in the holder. I got one piece on the side of the battery, and then somewhere around here I've got the other piece that goes on the top of the battery. I'll locate that once I get things going here. So that is my plan for this morning. I'm going to kind of get set up and get into a position where I can get in there, and then I'll be right back and we'll start this process of installing the rectifier and then installing the battery, and hopefully I'll have this thing started and running today again. Okay, first step, I believe, installing this rectifier is to hook up the wires. They hook up right down here. Get these clamps out of the way if I can. Put these back on when I get it all routed. Come on now. Okay, wiring's down here. Color coded. So we're going to start with the ground, just to be safe. These are bullet connectors. Holy cow. I don't know if that's in there or not. Let's see here. Not quite. There we go. Clicked. Got that one connected. So we've got a green, a red, a pink, and a white. And fortunately the red hasn't deteriorated to look pink, so that's good. Oh, it's not even in the connector. There we go. Click. All right, the red is done, the green is done. Going for the pink. I think that's done. And the white. Click. Now I will route this and install it to the frame where the old one was. And I was concerned on, I had read in Mr. Pardue's instructions about grounding being critical, and so I was concerned about which side of this block was going to be the ground surface, and I looked at the instructions that he supplied, and the black end of the rectifier here is the grounding surface. So I'm going to route this. I'm going to mount this, and then I'll route these clamps and clamp down the wiring. Okay, a little tough to get a camera into this spot. Try my best here. So, rectifier is somewhere right here. Probably going to mess up my light. Nope. All right, rectifier is here, and mounting spot is here. So I'm going to take a little sandpaper and clean up the mounting surface for a good ground. And he also states to take a little dielectric grease and put on the mating surface to keep it from any future corrosion if you live in a humid environment. And I'm up here in the Pacific Northwest, so it is a humid environment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this surface off real quick with the sandpaper, And I'll get my mirror, my inspection mirror, and a little alcohol wipe and wipe that off. And then I'm going to run to the tool room and grab a little dielectric grease. So I will be right back. Okie doke. Got my mirror. See what we look like in there. Oh yeah, that looks clean. Okay, I'm going to take my alcohol wipe that rascal down a little bit. And wipe down the connecting surface on the rectifier, wherever he may be. There it is. And I'm going to apply a little bit of dielectric grease. I'm going to dry the surface from the alcohol residue and apply a little dab of this dielectric grease. I use this on light bulbs, automotive light bulbs, and lots of instances of automotive and motorcycle electrical issues, connections. And I'm going to wipe a little bit of this on there, a little bit on here, and see if I can remember what I did with the bolt. There it is. All right, put a little dab of this stuff on the threads. Can't hurt. Make it easier to disconnect if I ever have to replace this rectifier, but from what I understand of Pardue Brothers equipment, it's going to outlast me. So can't say enough good things about those John Pardue and his efforts in the Honda community. On my Honda 90, I converted the headlight to LED, tail light to LED. I installed a USB cable off the 6-volt system to the handlebars. I received a lot of parts from him, and they're all quality parts. I'm hoping someday he'll join our Honda 90 group, Pacific Northwest Honda CT riders, because I have a lot of members there that aren't members of the other Honda group that need assistance with electrical problems and diagnoses, and so he's really good at that. Can I get the thing in the hole? Good Lord. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get down low here and do this with my left hand. So hang on, and I will get my pad and clear off some space. So I may have to hunt for a different bolt if I can't get this one attached. Okay, I got that to start. Let me try it with the washer on here. I may have to just resort to using some Loctite. I'll have to remove that dielectric grease off the threads if I have to use the Loctite for this. See, there's not much. See if I can get this in the camera view. Not much thread sticking out with this lock washer on there. We'll see if it engages. I definitely want to have a good amount of threads on there so it doesn't vibrate loose. Like I say, I may have to ditch this lock washer in order to gain enough threads to get a good tight fit We'll see here. Well, I do have it connected, but it felt like it was only 1 or 2 threads. I'm a little concerned there. Let me get my multi-metric wrench here. Let's see if we can get enough threads to make me happy. I think it may be okay. Once it compresses that lock washer down, it feels like it might be gaining a couple threads. I'll keep my eye on it. I suppose I can hear it rattling, or maybe if it's just 1 or 2 threads, I'll strip them off here and have to go with the plan B. Well, got it good and tight there. I think that's good. I don't want to over tighten it because I don't have a lot of thread engagement there. The perfectionist wants to make sure it's straight. I think that's good. I'm going to reattach the wire clamps. And knock some stuff off the seat. Okay, that feels pretty good right there. So I'm going to reposition the camera and install these wire looms and the plastic postie cover. Okay, I've routed the wires to the rectifier, and one thing that I've kind of noticed, let me get my cord out of the way here. One of the things that I've noticed is that these boots that cover the connectors have a pretty big opening on the upper end here, and since this is exposed to the elements, the post cover only goes on like a clamshell. I'm going to try and see if I can tighten a couple cable ties around these boots to seal off the top end, so it'll keep any moisture from getting down in there if I happen to go through any water or creeks or something like that. So let's try that. Not sure how this is going to work. I tried a smaller cable tie earlier, and it didn't cinch it up enough before it snapped off. So these larger ones here, we'll see if I can get this thing down and sealed off a little better than it was anyway. There we go. That ought to keep some moisture from getting in there. And let's see, maybe I can use my snapper gun. Where'd it go? Here it is. See if I can get that in there. Yeah. All right. One down, one to go, and then I brought a few of these cable ties for the kind of hold the wiring up to the post here. It comes with these metal ones, and I'll use these too, but I just like the longevity of something that's plastic when it's exposed to the elements. Let's see here if I can get this one around. Close off the top part of these boots so the connectors stay a little drier, protected. All right, and snippy snipper. All right, that's good. Now I'll start attaching the wires to the post. Well, let's start up here with the metal one. I think these are both the same length. we will attach these. One there, and another one down here. All right, got those there. Probably be pretty good just the way it is here. Let's put the plastic cover on. Then we can move into reinstalling the battery. Good enough. Got an extra washer here. That's always a good sign. Okay, I believe we're on to the battery. Okay, got the tube cover on, and moving on to reinstalling the new battery. Battery number 3. I just remembered I thought that I would add the response from the company that sold me the battery that was wired backwards. Their response was, sorry, we can't, I'll post a picture of it. We can't reimburse you for damages that our battery did, our incorrectly wired battery did to your motorcycle. In the future, you should check to make sure that the battery we've sold you, that we state fits your motorcycle, was wired correctly by us. So apparently it's my duty to check their work of a product that they're responsible for selling. Thank you very much. Okay, gonna clean up some of my surfaces here. Since this is a ground connector, and I did, when I initially pulled this battery holder off, it was corroded. It had some acid leakage in it, and it was starting to corrode, so I cleaned all that off and repainted it. Okay, so that is done. Let me do this ground wire a little bit. I think I've already cleaned it once before, but can't hurt to clean her once again. And as Mr. Pardue says, the grounding on these bikes is very important to keep maintained. So we'll clean that up, clean everything off with a little bit of alcohol. And I'll put a little dielectric grease on these areas so that my ground stays good. I screwed around in the previous segment and let my coffee get cold. All right. And that's this back side of this storage case. Houses the flasher and the CDI, I believe it's called, for the bike. Thank God it didn't fry that. Mr. Pardue told me that that is not fed by the battery, so I got lucky there. See if I can remember how this thing goes. I'm pretty sure This goes in like this. Boom, boom. Pretty sure it's 50-50 chance, you know. That and the flasher should have gone in first, or does it go in upside down here? Let's see. I hope so. Okay. That all the way up. That a good way in. Let's see if we can get this back in here now. Do-do-do. Brake light wires are in the way. Come on now. Be good to me today. Getting close. I can feel a win in my future. There we go. Life is beginning to be good. Okay, I think we're good there. Let's begin with the battery. Bateria. Okay, I think I'll put the padding in the bottom and the front. I was kind of debating on whether or not to install this foam pad in the top, on the top of the battery, because there's only room for one. There's only enough space for one. Install it on the top of the battery or the bottom of the battery. And I figured since the lids were on the top, I'll install it on the bottom, and most of the bumps are going to be coming from the bottom, I believe. Let's see here. Something feels a little crooked here. Let's go this way. Oh, I guess I could put my lids on tighter. I left them loose while I was charging it. Okay, let's go this way with it. That's better. And this goes up here. Okay, let me get this bolt started so I can adjust the wiring, route the wiring for it. My socket's too deep. Oh, I gotta put the ground wire on there anyway. And I will just use the screwdriver bit. Fortunately, this bolt has a Phillips head and a hex head. So my socket was too deep. Let's route this ground wire in around here and include it in the stack up. getting close there. See if I'm gonna get lucky. All right, that's in. Let's see if the wiring's in the right spot. The fuse, I believe, is supposed to go down there, and let's route my charging tail over here. Lord, please. Black, black. Red, green. Let's see here. Overflow tube. Get that up here. May have to put another cable tie on this. I don't know. We'll see. That on. Stick that in. And I think everything is where it's supposed to be. Oh, Lord. I guess I should test to see if I'm got the proper electricity in the proper places. So here we go. Oh, I wasn't sure if that fuse that was in there that was good. They're hard to see, so here we go. Switch on. Yes, I have neutral light. I believe everything is fixed. All I got left to do is stick the side cover on here and clear away out of the garage and take it out for a spin to make sure everything's going to work right, headlights and all that while it's running. So thanks for watching. Do yourself a favor and buy the correct battery. Buy a quality battery. UA, SUA batteries, and inspect other people's work, I guess, is the theme of the day. It cost me $50 because they wired their battery incorrectly, so I left them a good review. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate your watching. Subscribe if you like the channel, if you like the content, and I'll let you know at the tail end of this whether or not everything worked out once I get everything picked up and clear away to the door. Okay, got her outside. All this apparatus is my 360 camera mounting gear. I got my gas bag and my toolkit on the back. Flip the key on here. Life is good. I got a neutral light. We'll see how she starts.